Uh-oh, here we go. Wow. What do you say, Joey?
What's going on, Josh?
Man, I could actually see you across. Look at this. Look where we're at. I
tell you what, I feel like I'm like, today on the news, there was a three-car pileup on the Waterston Expressway.
We're in the process of redefining the Golf Channel. I mean, you know, we're going to come back and, I mean,
somebody needs
welcome to Loopers for Life. We told you it was going to happen. Powered by Tal Grace, Marketing and Media. We are live in the Looping Studio. I mean, this is the best Caddyshack I've ever been in.
Yeah.
Except for the movie.
Well,
which I was in that movie.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's in that movie.
You were the kid picking your nose over in the
corner. Everybody has a character that they were. No, and I was not. I was Danny Noonan. He had all the good things. Yeah. But welcome to Loopers for Life.
And we are live today.
We are live on our personal Facebook pages on Tal Grace Marketing and Media. This is something that we're very excited about. PGA Championship at Kiowa Island. Yes. All kinds of golf news. All kinds of things that relate to the PGA of America, to what my profession is. This is one, you know, as a PGA professional, the greatest golf tournament that we put together. And it's really exciting to see this quality of a field playing on one of the greatest golf courses that I've played.
You've played.
I played it last year in October.
And one of the best caddy movies ever was filmed there.
Bagger Vance. I mean, there's so much history to talk about, but I mean, again, just blown away by the studio. And I mean, awesome. Teague Ridge at Tal Grace Marketing and Media has been working hard. This podcast, Loopers for Life, we're very fortunate to be the guinea pig of his.
So if you're wanting to do a podcast, going to have to give a little plug here.
Yeah, we're
call Ridge at Tal Grace Media, and this is what your studio. We can change the lights here, everything.
My man Joey's got a looper bib up there. I can't wait to talk about that.
World Golf Hall of Fame member right here, baby.
That is awesome. We got a great story behind that. We got a couple of good stories, and like I said, we are excited about what we're going with this. And this right here just implements that. I mean, it's incredible, and I think that everything that you can gain from this as a podcaster or as somebody who has a web page or whatever it may be, looking to promote and communicate to their business clientels, Tal Grace Marketing and Media.
Yes.
Loopers for Life. Tell me you heard it at the caddy yard.
Yeah. Well, so, I don't want to tell half the stuff I heard at the caddy yard.
Well, we're going to be sharing. I mean, you know, again, this is Game 7, so what's really impressive is that this is Game 7, and we're on a weekly basis to get this, and there's going to be some logistics always that come out through this podcast, and
we are eventually going to have guests, so just bear with us. We'll eventually
call-ins, or if you want to put something on our Facebook Live, I mean, you know, we can definitely go to that.
You can call me a douchebag. You can put questions up, whatever. Say whatever
trust me. I mean,
and we are going to be discussing douchebags on the golf course
I definitely think the D-bag conversation has to be discussed. I mean, you know, for those that have great friends who play quality golf courses and the best in the world, which I'm very fortunate. And again, I've played the Ocean course and I've been on that golf trip, and I want to talk about that golf trip today. But you always have those guys that only want to play that type of golf course, and they don't want to go play Crescent Hill.
No,
I mean,
what's wrong with Crescent Hill?
What is wrong with Crescent Hill? I mean, you know,
there's not a bunker on Crescent Hill.
Well, you and I have talked about this too. I mean, you know, a great 18-hole game of golf would be 9 holes at Cherokee and 9 holes at Crescent Hill. And I would probably reverse that, and I would go Crescent Hill to Cherokee. You always want to end on the best one.
Are we walking or are we riding?
We're walking.
Okay.
I mean, we're loopers, bro. Right. I mean, what do you mean are we walking? I've seen that moonbag that you've had.
Oh, yeah. Well, hey, that's all I do. I'm not going. What do you need in your golf bag? I don't understand why people have big giant golf bags. What do you need in your golf bag?
Well, you need snacks.
No, come on.
You need water bottles.
Come on. Wait a minute. Hold on now. If I'm looping for you and you got like a bunch of water bottles in your bag, man, look, they're getting dumped out. Like
how many golf balls should really be in a golf bag? I mean, you know, when you caddied and had the bib there, how many balls were in that bag?
Well, that was a buddy of mine caddy for Hollis Stacy, but I'm going to say 2 sleeves.
2 sleeves?
Yep.
I would
2
say
sleeves.
more than that.
Sometimes more, but I'm going to say there's been plenty of times where there's only been 2 sleeves.
I would say
in
a
the back.
dozen. Go ahead and give me a dozen on there. I mean,
Yeah,
you're
so I
talking
guess-
about the greatest players, but I mean, no way do you want to run out of golf balls.
Now, when we were at Valhalla, though, what was the first thing you did when you got a bag? What I used to do was I used to empty out the golf bag, the golf balls, because golf balls are heavy.
Right.
And I would empty out the golf balls, and I would tell the player, listen, here's the deal. We're going to have 8 golf balls in here, 9 golf balls in here. I will find you plenty in the – if you lose a golf ball, then – hey, my loop's free.
I will find you. No, your loop was never free, bro.
No, it
Don't
was
ever
never
say
free,
that.
no.
I mean,
But
no, definitely. I think now, unlike when we caddied back in the day, I mean, they just like the caddies when you go and play these places, they'll just like they switch out your bag, they put them into a moon bag.
If you go to certain golf courses, yes, you're going to get put into a carry bag,
right? And
but
you're going to have a certain amount of golf balls. I mean, they like you just go through your bag. I'm like, hold up, bro, no.
But back when we were looping, I mean, think about the golf bags. I mean, they were full leather, Miller, Burton. You know, guys would show up with those. Even if it was a mid-sized bag, the thing weighed 300 pounds.
Right,
you know?
right.
And then
Nothing
you
but
had to
the best.
double loop and wear that them cover overalls. Yeah,
nothing but the best.
We had to walk uphill both ways to school.
I couldn't imagine going through somebody's bag and be like, sir, I'm going to have to
did it all the
do
time.
this.
I did it all the time. I used to
right?
take it out, put it in a bag. I used to put it in this Valhalla bag and give it to Dan Mead and say, tell the guy that he's got too many golf balls in here. They're staying right here, and we will not lose golf. I would tell the guy that.
Yeah, I mean, when I caddied, I mean, this is back in 89, 90, 91, somewhere in there, or through 94. And basically, I mean, you know, every bag was like Rodney Dangerfield's.
Yeah,
and Caddyshack.
Yeah.
I mean, you
people
know,
don't realize that.
and then you had that leather strap, and it would kill. There was no double strap. You remember when the double straps came out?
It was Izzo. What was the name of the company?
Izzo.
Tig?
It was
Izzo.
Izzo.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you had to put it. Yeah, the double strap was like the greatest invention for caddies ever. That is that big giant.
Before the double strap, let's talk about it.
What was that thing made out of? Fur? Like they had to kill like a lion. They had to kill like a lion to make this thing. It was like those things were.
But when you have one on there, I mean, tell me that.
Oh man, those things were awesome. But you know what was worse when you would be double bagging it, and if you don't know what double bagging is, for the people who've never done this, you're actually carrying 2 bags around 18 holes of golf for 2 different players.
Is that what you call double bagging?
Well, yeah. To double tee bagging now, that's a different.
Hey, this is a professional week. This is PGA of America, sir.
But no,
I'm a PGA of America member. Do not talk like that.
You would get a guy who would have like a huge bag, and then another guy would show up with like a carry bag. So you're like walking around. No wonder my back's jacked.
Well, I mean, when you had the bag and you had the double bag and you had that one that had the big cushy side on it, and then you had the other one that was just
I would carry it by the handle,
strap it into your collarbone, and I mean, you get all.
Hey, we've got to get one of those. Somebody get on eBay and get one. We need one to hang up.
If we could ever see one of those again, I mean, we will definitely bring that in and showcase that, because I remember, like, again, the great bags in our day was the Jones golf bag.
Jones golf bag was carried backwards with the
still is one of the best golf bags.
Absolutely.
They're still in the business, and I know there's a lot of PGA of America professionals that are in shops like Wingfoot.
They did have the best strap because their strap was wide,
without a doubt.
But you had to carry. It was padded wide, but you had to carry that golf bag backwards.
Well,
and you had to put a towel around the thing.
Don't you carry every golf bag backwards?
Yes, but
I mean, let's talk about that. I mean, you see a lot of people, they carry the golf bag for. Well, number one, you don't see anybody carrying your golf bag hardly anymore. Everybody has a push cart.
I do.
Well, you got a moon bag. That's what I was talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, you got one of those caddy bags that you're consolidating bags and putting into it, which is my Sunday bag, which is
I mean, the only thing you need in your golf bag is some tees,
9 balls,
a bag of weed, and
Wow. I mean, this guy's from Kentucky for sure. I mean, the Bluegrass State just got medicinal.
No, seriously. I mean, I don't get these guys who carry like they're on tour and they've
6
got
beers.
That's what the people who rent the cart in your group is for.
Well, trust me, as a former golf professional, I had to do the Metro bag part check. I'd always be like, all right, sir, I need to see your bag because no personal coolers are allowed on property.
Well, they were until
anytime you had to go
1996.
confiscate bags. I mean, well, I had to do it at the Metro Parks, which was a little bit easier than doing it at a country club.
When you got hired,
when you get it at a country club setting, you're like, come on, man. I mean, well, y'all sell $4 beers. I'm like, dude, that's your point. I mean, you're playing here.
Yeah, we're not in business to giveaway thing.
This is why guys that probably, we get those golf D-bags that they don't like to go to regular golf courses and play munis. I don't play any munis. Well, it's because they don't want to be paired with a guy that's like wanting to sneak in their Coors Light.
Those are golf snobs.
Well, I mean, they're the same. They're the same person. They're the same person. They have the bigger bag. They have they're rolling out of the cart with the big staff bag. I mean, and coming in and they have their big Titleist on the side or their Callaway or whatever it may be. And it's like, buddy, you have never carried that bag before in your life. But hey, I want to go back. I mean, again, nobody really carries their bag. I'm definitely a guy, when I carry my bag and carry my clubs, I'll rock them backwards.
Oh, you have to rock it backwards.
And it's just because of the Jones bag and the original peen.
Bucket hat, backwards bag. Sorry.
Right. And don't bag check me.
Yeah.
You just dropped some local knowledge right there.
Look, just for the record, I can pass a drug test. I'm just saying you have to have that in there,
Oh my gosh, man. What a great morning already. I mean, we're going live and Joey just takes it to another level. We're not even 5 minutes in. As we can see, I do kind of feel like I don't have my security blanket right here with my cousin T-Rock.
Well, we got T-Rock all the way over on the other side.
He's over there doing the production on the backside, and this is something that, when we have fantasy, we are definitely going to have to come knocking on his door.
If you don't listen to T-Rock, you're going to go broke.
Oh, no doubt.
He's better than cryptocurrency and Bitcoin.
He's our Bitcoin around here. But he is not conning. This, and again, I'm just overwhelmed by this, and I love the stories already that we're going. And just going back to double bagging, I put a picture on our Twitter account, and if you're not following us, you got to follow us on Twitter.
Yeah,
Loopers for Life.
Loopers for FORE.
Yeah, and then we're gonna have a Loopers. It is like 4. And I got another caddy story. I think that you were involved. Me and you, were involved one day. We're gonna talk about that. And I believe you were looping with me. Were you ever on number 9 when somebody got hit in the head with a golf ball?
Yeah, I was on 9. I was on 9 when the guy got hit in the head with a golf ball, and then I was on 18 when the guy died. That's
fairway, that's not good. We don't
want to talk about that.
Number 9, were you there? Really, I actually
Reaper,
think you were in this group with me.
I think so,
because we could not see the ball. This is like just totally jumping off topic right now.
Let's just
but this is what we do. But I couldn't see the ball, and we would always go over and get onto the bunker side.
Well, you're supposed to be on both sides of the fairway. We never did that.
Well, nobody ever got that far. They would always kind of go over
there. Stay between 1 and 9.
But like the first guy hit, and like I couldn't see it, and I think you couldn't see it, and this guy was like, nobody could see it, but this guy, he was like, oh, I got it, and the ball went over and went into the fairway, and then the second ball hit. And nobody could see it, or I didn't see it, you didn't see it. No. And he was like, "Oh, I see it," and then it landed in the fairway. And then on the third, and it was a threesome, I think. I don't think there was another guy.
It was a threesome.
I think, and I'm almost 100% positive you were in this group. I don't know who that kid was, but he had glasses on. And the ball one hop right in front of the bunker and hit him up in his head. And we were like, man, I can't see it. And I'm kind of like ducking into the side now because the ball slowly started making their way over to that right-hand side bunker. And it literally boom. And then, I believe Pancake was still the pro there at that point in time.
Yeah, that's how long ago that was.
And it was Keith or Ron that came out there and had to do I think it was actually Ron.
It was Ron Snyder.
He came out there and he did the
because Ron probably handled it a little better. Hey man, well, we don't need you to be filing the witness comp claim.
Ron would stitch him up. That guy is so country. I got
with some guitar strings. He'd stitch him up with some guitar.
So here's a great. And this kid ended up getting hit. He was okay. He ended up going. One of us had a double bag. I'm going back to that little picture that I posted on there on Loopers for Life of some little kid carrying he lost on one of my junior golf things. He lost the game of chipping, and he had to carry these 3 kids bags, and he had them all strapped on, and I was just like, man, I would do that for a caddy dog in a minute. It's plus hey, give me $35-$40, but whatever. I want the caddy dog at the turn. They were so good back in the day.
You remember I actually brought some of this last week, but I forgot to give you the Gardettos, which was a trail mix at the turn.
Yeah.
Can I get you anything? Yeah. Can I get a Gatorade and some trail mix, please? And a Snickers? Now, I'm going to give you a good caddy story. And I'm going to get in trouble for this.
Oh, I like this. And I'm going to give you a good Ron Snyder story. We're just going to go with stories real quick, and then we'll get into all of our PGA stuff.
I'm going to get in trouble for this, but I don't
talking about our
care.
fantasy golf picks and everything that we do for Loopers for Life. But go ahead.
All right, so here's the story. I got a guy who probably was a major douchebag,
Today's topic is D-bag. And do not check Joey's bag.
He was not a nice guy. And he didn't get me anything at the turn. Didn't give me any.
Didn't even offer.
Didn't offer.
Yeah,
didn't give me a Gatorade.
That's bad for business.
And I was not at Valhalla when I did this. So just in case anybody's listening from Valhalla that wants to ban me for life from there, which I probably think I already am. It's
another story.
Yeah. So basically, we were got done with the round. Well, he didn't get me anything at the turn, so I ran in and got a candy bar myself. I went in and said, "Hey," I opened the door and told the girl in there, I said, "Can I get a Snickers bar? Can I get 2 of them? I'm starving."
Right.
And
I've seen some pictures of you back in the day.
Yeah.
So you were probably really hungry.
Starving.
You were having one of those Snickers hangry moments, like those commercials.
Yeah. So I get 2 Snickers, and I only eat 1 of them. And the guy's just a total major, just doesn't come with any grease, doesn't come with anything, just total. Oh man, I remember this guy. I can just picture this guy's face. So he tells me he's going to play some resort like Kiowa or something. I don't know, after he leaves this golf course. Not Valhalla, by the way. It wasn't Valhalla. It wasn't anywhere here in Indiana or Kentucky.
Nor French Lick is basically.
No, it wasn't anywhere. Yeah. So
no loop, and there's only like 4.
Yeah. So basically, as I realized I didn't eat the other candy bar. And it was still my bib. And I knew this guy was flying out to some place actually in the desert. I'm cutting out here, Teague.
You might be stepping on your thing. No, I can hear you, by the way.
Right. So he was flying out to some nice, warm destination. And I had this candy bar left in my thing. So I opened it up and dumped it in his bag down in the bottom so it would get all over his grips. So when he got to the next location, he got his golf clubs out to hit some daggone balls. He was going to have some Snickers all over. Teach you not to tip.
And so he never knew who did that. I mean, obviously
sure
that happened,
out,
but he figured out the last time I played. Yeah. That's still kind of accidental.
Look at Stig Ridge.
Hey, there he is, cousin T Rock from the blog coming on in here hot.
I think I'm good. I'm still hearing a little.
Are you coming in to give us your picks already? He's like, you guys stop talking about this. All right, I'm going to talk about. Go ahead.
I'm cutting out still, but I can hear myself actually now. So anyway, look, it's the only bad thing I ever done besides
don't check my Metro Park bag when I'm playing over at Seneca.
There might be a few.
Let me tell you a quick Ron Snyder story. For anybody
story.
that doesn't know Ron Snyder, he was a fellow PGA professional. He was a major influence in me wanting to become a head golf professional. I mean, both that whole team over there. I was so fortunate for me, Tony Pancake, class,
wonderful,
Keith Reese. And then Ron Snyder all being on that staff and had major influence of me wanting to become a golf professional. And Ron Snyder, ironically, we're the only 2 guys in the city of Louisville that spell their last name Snider.
Yeah, for years I thought y'all were related.
Yeah, everybody was like, "Oh, you're related to Ron." I'm like,
that's
"No."
Why you're getting all these good
and then there was also like, WQMF back in the day. They had Uncle Ron, and I called him Uncle Ron all the time. And he was like, "Oh, you can't talk." I mean, like, he was probably the one that would probably be the disciplinarian of the 2 back in the day as the assistant, or as the assistant professional's responsibility to kind of oversee, right? Yeah. And so, like I said about that story, he was the guy that came running out there to help the caddy that day. Probably could have stitched him up because he is a country bumpkin.
Yes,
he is a hunting guy, fishing guy. I mean, this guy.
Let me get my knife out here.
Oh well. So fast forward. Josh Snyder is at Louisville Country Club as an assistant professional. And one snowy morning, one of the local, I can't remember, Becky Hayes, I believe, she was walking her dog. She lived in Indian Hills. She was walking down the thing, and she came into the golf shop, and it's snowing in the morning, Joey. It's like Saturday morning, 8:30, and she's like, "There's, my dog's all over this deer," and so like I go out there, and this deer had been hit on the road, found its way up, and it was just lying in the snow.
Trying to die, like, hey, I'll either
kind of trying to die, right? So,
exactly. Kind of like my golf game,
and I have been there for like maybe 6 weeks. I mean, it was my first 2 months. I mean, again, I got hired.
Josh Snyder, like, LCC.
Oh, I loved it. I mean, one of my great stops in my life was those 2 years. First time I ever worked on the assistant staff. So, anyways, going back. She comes in there. I go out there and I look, and I mean, yeah, sure enough, his steer's dying. I've been a redneck before. I've seen it. Can't do anything about it. I'm like, yeah, ma'am, and the dog's going crazy. She's like, well, I don't know what to do. My husband told me to call somebody, and he's coming out to look at it. Sure enough, it's Ron Snyder. Sure enough, and he's like,
"He come cut the head off of him."
No, he came out. Well, he came out. Listen, I mean, he came out. He had a gun, and he was going to, and he didn't have his bow. And he was telling me a story how he didn't have his bow. He's like, I wanted to bring my bow, but my son, yeah, right, and to put it out of its misery, right. So, but he wasn't going to shoot. He brought his gun, like a little pistol, and he's like, well, I'm not going to shoot it here. Well, sure enough. Because who she was, news anchor forever in Louisville. She had reached out to somebody else, or her husband did.
Helicopters flying over by this point.
Indian Hills Police come rolling up in LCC's parking lot. Old Barney Fife gets out.
That's what you want to see, Indian Hills Police.
Here it is right here.
We got nothing else to do.
Barney Fife comes out of the Indian Hills. Oh, yeah, he pulls the gun out, right? And Ron,
everybody get back.
Yeah, basically, the lady had left. She had left. So it's just Ron and I now, okay? Right. It's just Ron and I. And basically, he's like, yeah, and, Ron has his pistol, but he's not doing anything. The Barney Fife, whoever it was from Indian Hills Police, pulls out his pistol and decides to put this deer out of its misery. And I kid you not, shot 5 times.
Before he killed it?
5
or just because I think this guy's now on LMPD, right? This guy,
I mean, this is a true. I mean, and so like these dudes don't know how to shoot. I mean, it's like anything that happens, and I'll get a little political right here.
I mean, couldn't they at least tased it?
I mean, well, that was before tasers, but I mean, learn how to shoot. I mean, if you're gonna have to shoot somebody, I mean, you ought to be able to shoot them like Eddie Murphy did in Harlem Nights, right there, and be able to shoot their toe out.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy,
my big toe.
You shot my big toe. You shot my big toe quick. I can't believe I'm going to kill that son of a bitch. I mean, that is one of the all-time best movies ever. I mean, Richard Pryor. It's a Harlem movie. But this guy gets out. I mean, like literally, Joey, he shoots 5 times and misses, and then finally has to walk up and like, boom. And it was either the 5th or the 6th shot, and Ron and I, and I've only, I've hunted, never really been a deer hunter, never really shooting those type of, I've always hunted, like did some waterfowling, so I'll shoot shotguns and get the spray effect, and I was always pretty good at that, but, never on the dead eye pistol shoot, and I mean, like literally, he's popping it in the snow, 3 pops over him, boom, 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 and missed the damn thing. I mean, and I'm like, he shot it 3 times. He pulled the trigger, and I was like, what the heck?
The funny thing.
But Ron, I would just saw him back. I mean, I can never forget that moment because, fast forward later and me doing what I'm doing. Ron Snyder was a head professional at Persimmon Ridge a long time. And I mean, and then me coming over and doing my business, which is running a golf academy at Persimmon Ridge.
Everything goes full circle.
Yeah, it does go full circle. He was there. He really helped. Yeah. And I mean, he went to the first tees down in Florida, probably being a redneck. Is that what
he's doing now?
Yeah, he's down in Florida being a redneck.
Shooting alligators now.
Yeah, he's shooting alligators.
So here's the thing about this whole thing Josh is talking about is why does everybody come to PGA professionals for everything? You want to know the weather? You call the golf shop. You want to know what the traffic is on I-65? You call the golf shop. I mean, well, let's stop doing this, people. All right, listen. And I know I sound like I'm bitching here.
No.
But I'm not.
No.
I got a little grievance here because I've worked in enough golf shops. I don't want to pick up the phone, and neither does anybody else that works in a golf shop, and tell you what the freaking weather is.
Well, those days are gone,
hello,
Joey.
Thank you for calling Tig Country Club. Can I help you? Yeah, I was just wanting to know, is it going to rain today? What the fuck you think it's going to do? I mean, look outside. I mean, Jesus Christ. And by the way, can I get a 9 o'clock tee time? Yeah, I have an 8:56. Oh, I'm sorry. That's too early. Get the hell out of here, man.
Well, those days are gone. I mean, with the smartphones, I mean, everybody is now.
No, they still call for the weather. Don't worry. They're looking at their phone and they're going to ask you whether it's raining.
I mean, that was when the weather turned south. I mean, for me, I mean, as a former golf professional and a head professional, I mean, yeah, you're right. Everybody would always call the shop, but you had the computer on your desk that had the weather.
I had a lady
there.
call the shop one time that lived in the condos across the. It's like 6th hole, 12th hole, asking me if it was raining. I asked her if she was at home. She's like, yeah. I'm like, No, it's not raining over here. It's sunny.
You know,
but no, let's talk about pet peeves. Work. You come on.
Well, I'm going to give you my pet peeve is that when I would enjoy showing everybody the weather and explaining to them my meteorology degree of being in the golf shop and answering those calls for 365 days. Right. But when the smartphones came out and everybody had a weather app, now everybody is a meteorologist and they're coming up to, hey, pro, I mean, you see this? I mean, why do you got everybody's not in? Lightning's over here. It's 20 miles away. I'm like,
why are you blowing the siren?
There's a boat right there on the other side of the river right there, and trust me, we're only 3 miles from the river.
Yeah. I mean, what's the
weather crow
warning?
flies? I mean, we are 5 miles from the river.
What's the weather warning? Like, is it a 5 mile radius when the alarm goes off?
Isn't it? No, well, the ones that are really done, I mean, they're 15 miles, aren't they? I think it's like the lightning strike is like 20 miles or something.
I don't play in the rain anymore.
I don't have that. I mean, obviously the ones that come through, but some of the calls that you would get in the pro shop and ring are legendary, and that kind of, I would say there is a lot of feedback on that because, I mean, who you're really going with is you're going with the golf D-bag on the other end. And so feedback that you have with that experience, I mean, that person is calling, sometimes they're just that guy and they don't like playing munis. They don't like doing this. They feel like every time they ought to shoot 72, and then they don't post a score when they shoot 79. I mean, we all know those guys. We all know those guys.
When I shoot 79.
But I always looked at it as an opportunity too to just kind of blow them away with a blessed sarcasm and just say, hey, you know what? Why don't you just come on out? I mean, let's play golf. I mean, there's 30% chance of rain. There's 70% chance of sunshine.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I mean, do you want to stay home with your wife or just come on hang out at the golf course?
I mean, let's go play.
Do something.
I had a little 10-year-old boy tell me in a lesson the other day. He was like, you know what? When a man wants to play golf, a man plays golf. I was like, yes, this dude's going to be good. I mean, how good? I mean, like literally, I turned around and I was like, are you kidding me right now, bro? When a man wants to play golf, a man wants to play golf. Yeah. Well, the role of the PGA professionals, in speaking about the PGA professionals and how they go into this weekend and our championship, the PGA Championship, God bless them. I mean, I have done it for 25 years as being an assistant head professional and no longer in that business, no longer taking those phone calls, no longer, putting
I'm going to actually start calling your cell phone.
Good luck with that. I mean, ask Cousin Teague how I am with my social skills now. I mean, anything that requires me to do a lot of effort, I have a hard time doing.
Yeah, I agree.
But I mean, the only effort that I give is just every day, just grinding. I mean, and those guys as a PGA professional, I'm grinding on another, just world of golf and trying to help people play better golf.
To be honest with you, that's the part that only I love that part of it.
Well, what they do for the game of golf and what they do for the members and what they do for those that are wanting to get the PGA Championship experience. I mean, when you're a member at a club or you're a member at a Muni and the men's club over there and you play in the club championship or you play in the men's member or any tournament that you participate in, or the ladies for that matter. I mean, there's a lot of ladies, a lot of lady golf professionals in my association, a lot of ladies in Kentucky. That are PGA professionals, and we're really representative well in that site. But
if you're listening to this today,
you give them the opportunity to experience what it's like playing championship golf.
Well, all I gotta say about the PGA, if you're listening to this today, thank your PGA professional because they do a whole lot more than you think they do. And they put up with a lot of your crap.
Uselessly. My wife used to say, are they really calling you about this? Do they not know that this is not a hospital? I mean, and she's a nurse, and I was like, really? I mean,
the minute people take their clubs out of their trunk, their brain goes in the trunk.
Wow. I mean, it's amazing. I mean,
and we're all guilty. We're all guilty.
Well, you see it. I mean, it's like going back to Caddyshack. It's like the priest playing in Caddyshack. I mean, out there in the middle of a lightning storm. Oh, let's keep on going. I'll look out there and watch a lightning storm. They blow everybody off the golf course, and sure enough, there's somebody over there on the short game area who does not care.
I don't care if I get struck by lightning.
Yeah, and they're out there just doing what they're doing. And I mean, and you can't teach stupid.
Well,
huh? Unless that stupid is Forrest Gump.
Actually,
now, if it's Forrest Gump,
the game is that addicting, and people love it that much that we will do stupid stuff like that.
There's no doubt about that.
I mean, play in the snow, play in the rain.
Just really,
that's what makes the game so great.
Yeah.
Period.
There's no doubt about that. I mean, there's nothing like just seeing somebody making a golf swing when you're just like at the gas station, unless you're that guy. And then your wife's like hitting you upside the head, be like, "Stop doing that." I mean,
at the airport with a,
Oh, trust me. I mean, how many times have you done it? I mean,
1 million.
Just the other day, here's a quick story. Just the other day, I had got fortunate to go watch my daughter play a lacrosse game late in the evening, and it was supposed to rain. So my wife had an umbrella. She was already there because she's prepared. I'm not. I just roll up, but at the end of the game, it never did really rain. And at the end of the game, I was walking out, and she gave me the umbrella. So I'm just standing there. All the kids are over. Oh yeah, I start right in. I use one of those lines on the track lines, to get centered up and get my triangle ready, and start working on whatever I read.
Everybody's got the great umbrella swing too.
Well, and here's the thing. I mean, I always do it, and this is why my golf swing's so jacked up. I mean, I'm always doing it on something that I've either thought or I have seen that day that somebody else is doing, and I'm thinking about them. And so, when I go on a golf trip to Kiowa, I mean, it's like, oh my gosh. I mean, I'm just like everybody else in the sense of playing, but you just try. I'm probably even more so because I got 1,000 million things going through my head in that. I mean, I'm always thinking about the swing and just that kind of dynamics. And so you give me a stick, and I'm making golf swings. I mean,
greatest game ever played.
Period. Oh, it is. And speaking of that, I mean, and at Kiowa, let's talk about Kiowa this week. I mean, in the PGA Championship, I mean, and the greatest game that's ever played. I mean, it was one of the filming sites for Bagger Vance, and just like you said earlier, one of the great caddy movies.
Yes.
So many legendary lines in that movie, and what. Really,
great movie.
And was close to being historic. I mean, that's how golf was played back then. Obviously, them driving up and having lights out there, I probably don't see that. But I mean,
I don't know. I've hit balls on the range with my car lights on.
Oh, trust me. I mean, the putting and having lights on is pretty cool. I give lessons with lights on. I mean, and all the time.
But it's a great movie. If you haven't seen it, then you shouldn't be listening to this podcast.
that is a mandatory Loopers for Life movie that you have to have. But the Ocean Course at Kiowa Island, designed by
Pete.
And this is the one that, to me, I'm fortunate enough to play last year. It is literally one of the greatest golf courses I've ever played.
Is it really?
Definitely one of the hardest golf courses I've ever played. But it is one that when you walk it and you walk out, you walk back in, you walk out, you walk back in. The routing of it.
It has the most oceanside holes of any golf course in the United States, correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
Or it's really close. I think because there's 6 of them that run. I mean,
actually, I think it is.
There's 6 of them. I think Pebble Beach has a couple, may have more. I don't know.
Can you look this up for us?
Well, they definitely have 18 and but anyways, let's not talk about Pebble Beach. They are not on the dock. I mean, who is Kiowa, and the green complexes there are unlike some of the other ones that he has designed.
So they're not runoffs.
They're not runoffs. Okay, they're all elevated. They're like the volcano bunkers.
That was Alice's idea.
Oh, really?
Yes, to do that.
Now, this golf course was built 30 years ago.
Two wonderful people.
30 years ago, it was built as one of the great golf courses in the world. I mean, they literally had the property, and it's the greatest oceanside property that was presented at that time.
To get down there and
before Bandon Dunes and what that has become for American golf.
So what are we playing this at? 7,800.
Let's play 7,800 yards at sea level.
Obviously, the
at
PGA
sea level
is going to move the hose compared to which way the wind's blowing.
Well,
I'm sure they will.
When you're on the ocean and you see this.
Kiowa is 7,876 yards, and 6 of the holes could play over 600 yards.
Check.
Check. Can't hear me, Josh.
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, that's my cousin T-Rock from the block coming in. We must be getting close to talking about fantasy.
We must be.
Oh,
we
man.
Must be.
He is back here.
I'm telling you, you want a retirement plan, you got to listen to this guy.
Oh, that's my man
what
right
was
there.
It, 3 weeks ago? If you would have put $10 down on our picks, you would have won.
Let's not live in the past. Let's not live in the past.
If you put $10 last week down, you would have been $10 more broke than what you are now.
No, you could have made some money on our picks last week.
Okay. Oh yeah, we are consistently on the board. But go into that. I mean, it's 7,800 yards, and what did you just say? I mean, repeat that.
6 of the holes can play 600 yards or longer. Not saying they will,
right?
But 6 of them could,
right? Well, this golf course is definitely depending on
the wind.
The wind, right? Yes. And I mean, and you're going to have wind even when you have. you're going to have wind because you're on the ocean. So you're always going to have wind. Even when it's like 10 miles an hour, it is a different 10 miles an hour.
Yes, it is.
And it is always a heavy atmosphere out there that you got to take into account for.
And we get to use rangefinders. They get to use rangefinders.
How about that?
Yes.
I mean, there's a big move.
Speed up the game or not?
So, guys, we've got a question from the live stream.
Oh, yes.
And the question is, how will the use of rangefinders affect the PGA Championship this week?
I like the idea. I personally, as a caddy, liked getting yardage, but I think it's going to be kind of neat, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think they've already used the rangefinders,
so they're in yards and not meters.
They have. Here's the thing. Out there at that level, they have the rangefinders already done.
Yeah, they're using them during practice rounds.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. They're permitted, and so they're out there using it. And basically, what's going to happen is I don't think it's going to speed up the game whatsoever.
No.
It has
not
nothing
on that level, no.
to affect. But what it really does is it allows them to be a little bit more accurate with cover yardage, and the most important number that any great player carries
cover yardage.
Yes. Or cares about is carry yardage. You have to have the carry yardage.
Run out
now,
and carry.
The average golf D-bag, he's always going to go by their total. Oh, well, I hit my 8-iron 175 yards. What do you hit your sir? But at the PGA Tour level,
that's a 50-degree grap wedge on that shot.
At the PGA Tour level, they're just they just care about their cover yardage.
They care about cover, they care about run out,
bunkers.
And they want front yardage. The majority of them, not all.
Yeah,
but
front yardage is huge.
Front yardage is huge.
Why is front yardage huge out there for elite players? And being on the bag, what do you think it is?
Good question. I really never have asked that question. They want front yardage because that's what they want to know what it's going to get to the green, and then how firm the greens are. And actually, we'll have a friend of mine as a guest here in a couple of weeks that actually caddies on the Corn Ferry Tour now for John Augustine. We're going to try to get him on the show. We'll ask him that question.
Oh yeah. Well,
I never actually really asked that question.
I think that when you know the front yardage, yes. You're going to be able to find your dispersion rates a little bit better, and you're going to be most golf courses play better if you keep the ball between you and the green. Mm-hmm. When you get sideways at the green, and sometimes when you get long, you're going to be off. So it's always a better missing position.
Right.
And this is just my thoughts. As a golf coach, it's a better missing position to allow yourself an up and down. Most greens are built, front to back. Or right, front to back.
Right.
Yeah, and so, you're going to be chipping uphill a lot more and whatnot. Yeah. But, at this golf course, here's the interesting thing is as strong of a golf course as it is, and and it earned its mark. It was built in like 1989, 88. It's 30 years old. Years ago, and it was really the very first event that they ever held was the 1991 Ryder Cup, War by the Shore, which America desperately needed at that time. They had lost like 3 Ryder Cups going into it.
We were looking like a bunch of chumps.
And we're going to talk about that real quick. We were looking at it, but just going to this golf course, and when it held the PGA Championship won by Rory McIlroy back in 2012, the winning score was 13 under par. Now, second place was 5 under par. Now, he blew away everybody. Yeah. And, we'll get to him, too, here in a minute as we talk about that. But this golf course presents a lot of opportunities to make birdie. And I was surprised by that. Again, one of the hardest golf courses I ever played. First day, played it twice. First day, it was windy for
harder than Crescent Hill?
Oh, it was every bit as challenging as that Cherokee Crescent Hill loop. Oh, yeah, that combo right there. But, the wind really didn't pick up the second day. And and for a hard golf course, it was very playable.
What time of year did you play it?
I played it in October of last year, 2020.
And the wind didn't blow? Wow.
Yeah, well, it blew one day. Okay. It was blowing all the way up until the day that we played Kiowa. In the morning, it kind of died down that morning.
Right.
Still the ocean breezes, and it was still an effect. And, but the golf course has some birdie holes on there. If I'm making birdies on this golf course, then I know the tour pros are.
Must be
now, and it's and I did, and I played fairly well for being the one time of the year that I truly get hyped up and get to play and go on golf trips. And I will tell you, real quick, as we're talking about this place as a golf trip, it is a phenomenal place to go. And there's got great golf courses that are there. It is expensive, but they have 4 other golf courses that are part of their property. Osprey Point, Oak Point, Turtle Point, and Cougar Point. Cougar Point was designed by Gary Player. It's a fantastic golf course. Another one, the one that gets the most acclaim probably is Turtle Point. It's a Jack Nicklaus course, has 2 holes that are on the ocean. Great,
Yeah.
But it was kind of like in through. But that golf course is one of the hardest golf courses I've ever played. And I speak of Kiowa, but it's also one of the most playable golf courses I've ever played, to the point of I would sign up to play that thing every day, or I would be a caddy there.
Did they have caddies?
Oh, they definitely have caddies.
Did you have a carry caddy?
We had. Was
COVID last year?
Everybody doubled.
Okay.
Everybody doubled. So I think that's how they roll down there. Everybody doubles, and it is a long walk. I mean, and it is something.
Well, if you're planning a guys trip, sounds like a place to go.
It is a good place to go. I mean, you get the Charleston experience, and we didn't get that because of COVID, but I mean, it is a fantastic place to go. But just that golf course, walking out and walking back. I mean,
it goes? Is it
goes straight out, and you go like due north,
and then everything comes back
and then you play back in south, and then you go due south, and then you come back in north.
Supposed to be.
Yeah, and I mean, it is a throwback to how great golf courses were built by the sea on the across the pond,
right?
Over on the banks of the English Channel.
Definitely have to go play it.
Yeah, it is a spectacular place, and so what do you remember about the War by the Shore Ryder Cup?
Good question, because I don't remember a whole lot about it.
1991?
I don't watch a lot of golf.
You didn't watch that back in the day?
I was out.
That was.
I was out trying to stock my golf bag with some.
I guarantee you were South End. Shout out to Shively right there. Over sitting right here. But you
keep up on that stuff.
Well, I'll
the
tell
old
you what. I mean,
guy.
that was really when I got interested in golf. I mean, that my junior to senior year, 1990, 1991, 89, I believe I started caddying that summer.
Yeah.
90 and 91, I was all in on caddying, and it really, just going back to Tony Pancake and the golf professionals at that point in time, Keith Reese and Ron Snyder. Everybody who has done just a lot for the game of golf here in the state of Kentucky.
Yeah.
But I was pumped up, and then that
so give me some
1991.
details about
I'm going to give you just two
remember
major details. 1991. Mark Kakovenkia hit the worst shot I've ever seen on television. It was a cold shank on the 17th hole, the par 3, which is the greatest par 3 hole on the golf course. I'm going to go ahead and put that out there. This is one of the greatest par 3s to close a game of golf. It is incredible how good this hole is, regardless of where you played it. The first time I played it all the way back. Second time we played appropriate tees. Anyways, long story short.
Appropriate tees. Yeah. That's the key word.
Hey, appropriate tees. Go ahead and play them. I mean, and we only played on that first day just because, it was the first day.
Yeah.
And we didn't play it all the way back because there was no way we played 7,800 yards with the group I was with. I mean, you will see a picture of my group right here. Oh, what? There's nobody taking those shirts off. I mean, we are from Kentucky, but I mean, we do have some class. Anyways, 17th hole is a great one. Mark Kakovenkia cold shanks it into the middle of the pond with a match on the line, and we lose a point. So it puts it all at even. And then the very following match is Bernard Langer playing against, I wish I could tell you off the top of my head right now, but he played against one of the Americans who was going to kick his ass because he missed a 6-foot putt.
Yeah, I do remember that.
That putt right there, if he would have made it, it would have been a tie, and Europe would have retained the cup, and
and the Ryder Cup,
right? But
we would just be chumps.
It would have been chumps.
Yeah.
I mean,
most likely,
we were already starting to become chumps, and that 1991 is also, if you can remember, that's when we, the Gulf War was started, and I mean in South Carolina, and it is a very military state, home base of a lot of our institutions, and there was definitely some patriotism there. I mean, and that's really when the old USA chants started getting some to go along with the Olays that the Europeans were doing. But that was a great tournament, and really kind of cemented that place as being a great golf courses. As when you host a Ryder Cup, much similar to Valhalla, you are on.
Well, that's what's great about watching this PGA is that we've got PGA history here in Louisville.
Right. Oh, yeah. And the PGA history here in Louisville, we have got to talk about that. I mean, and this is over at Big Spring Country Club.
And two of the best tournaments you ever watched. The PGA was, obviously 2000.
Right.
1996 was
Right.
a great tournament. 2000, I don't think you can get a better tournament than 2000.
No, Tiger Woods,
that putt
y'all.
on
Tiger
18
Woods.
by Bob May that's not going to go in the hole.
Putt on 18.
And all of a sudden, it's like
the putt on 16 when he walked it in and he did that.
That's
and
legendary.
And then when you go down into their new clubhouse and they have this state-of-the-art TrackMan room, you walk down into the basement, Joey.
I haven't been out there.
No,
they haven't allowed me on the property
I
since I threw candy bars and people.
I thought that wasn't in Kentucky.
Yeah, I don't know where it was.
Now the story's coming true. No wonder you're not back. But I have a picture of Tiger walking that putt in. So as you walk down the steps, you see that putt. That is great. But just calling the Big Spring. I mean, and the Kentucky Golf account that you run on Facebook, you posted the thing.
The program,
1952.
Yeah,
won by Jim Ternissa.
Ternissa beat by
He was a big time player.
And I think if I'm not mistaken, you'll have to look this up, Tig. They played 36 holes 2 days.
Yeah.
So it was match play. He played 36 holes. All the big names were out. Jim Ternissa wins. I think he beat Chick Habert or however you pronounce Chick's last name. They played at 6,700 yards at Big Spring. The old layout before I-64 came through. So the first 4 or 5 holes were the same as they are now, and then I think 5 and 6 were different. 13, 14's whatever.
I mean, that photo that you put out there, and it had that booklet had a lot of great information about the local golf courses here in Louisville, Kentucky. I mean, and they were
that house at Crescent Hill?
That house was awesome at Crescent Hill for sure. If they still had that would. I mean, and how about them saying, "Hey, we're going to build another 18 over at Cherokee"?
They did it twice, actually, if I'm not mistaken. They built it, closed it, and then built it back again years later,
and then closed it again.
If I'm not mistaken.
Well, I mean, there was just a lot of great information in there, and I've spoken already before on this show. I mean, about how Big Spring is kind of made in their new clubhouse renovations, showcase some of their history with the PGA Championship. I mean, had a great golf professional that was there at that point in time.
Jack Ryan,
I mean, and so it was just having that.
He held the course record, actually.
Well, having that history here of our PGA Championship being in here in Kentucky. Than everything that has happened at Valhalla. I mean, it's just been fantastic.
I want to know how we
guys take a stab at what the winning purse was.
$3,000
in 1952.
1952.
Oh, the total winning purse.
The total winning. No, well, the winner's share.
They got $3,000.
$3,500.
That was a lot.
But the other thing that's interesting, it was
you
the final
your
8
bag with some goodies with that amount of money.
The final 8 was match play.
Always match play. And so like Ben Hogan, that's the reason why when he won won all 3 of the majors and got the ticker tape parade, and he won the Masters and then the U.S. Open or whatever he did, and he won the British Open.
Yeah, couldn't play in the PGA because the British Open and PGA.
Well, he would always opt out of the PGA because of the 36 holes. I mean, that was
after his accident.
After his accident,
he couldn't walk.
So he couldn't walk. He played a lot of PGA championships, but the history that they have, the history that we have, the history that we have here with our golf professionals. Winning the PGA Championship. Let's talk about Mike Thomas's son. Mike Thomas, Justin Thomas, our local hero right there, getting his only victory in the PGA Championship on a great golf course at Quail Hollow, like we've already discussed before. But the ties to the game of golf for the state of Kentucky are really long running, and I mean, and in that book
we have Bobby Nichols is a PGA winner.
That's right.
Justin Thomas,
right?
I believe that's all we have, just those 2.
But I mean, the thing that was awesome in that book, I mean, and it talked about the history of Big Spring, but it shares some of the history of all the other golf courses, the Metro Park, the Munis, the ones that nobody wants to play, that are country club members,
golf snobs.
But Seneca hosted the 1950 U.S. Amateur Public Links.
Yes.
Which was a 1934, Shawnee hosted the same thing.
1932, Shawnee hosted.
Shawnee, and I mean, how
on the old layout.
And the U.S. Am Pub Links, I mean, it is one that.
Listen, this is a tournament.
Went away.
This is a tournament. I'm sorry. That needs to come back. USGA, if you're listening.
Oh, for sure.
The Pub Links needs to come back.
We will bring that topic back to another day.
Definitely.
But Big Spring and what they've done over there, and recognizing their history with the PGA Championship, what Valhalla has done, and then what we're going to see this week. I mean, on this great golf course, and it is ultimately a stern test. It's going to be depending on the wind. But like I said, I mean, there are some birdie opportunities. There's some guys that have been playing in good form. Obviously, Rory McIlroy is going to have a lot of feel-good juice going. I mean, coming off the Quail Hollow win, taking a week off, coming to a place where he's already – and not only did he win, he dominated.
Yes.
I mean, to be able to say, hey, I'm an 8-stroke winner, minus 13 under par, and second place was minus 5. against a quality field at that point in time.
Yes.
Still a lot of players, and this is the interesting thing. There's a lot of players in this field that are, played in that 2012 PGA Championship. So I'm excited to watch this. I mean, obviously, when you watch a golf course that you've played on TV,
there's nothing
let's
more
talk
fun
about
than
that.
watching.
Have you?
Yes,
Yeah,
Valhalla, obviously the PGA, and I've played Inverness. So
okay.
anytime you can play
what
a golf,
great golf
anytime
course.
you can play a golf course, and then watch a championship or just a regular PGA Tour on that same golf course where you get a whole different perspective.
You're right.
Is like.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's spectacular.
I mean, obviously, a lot of us aren't going to get to see that when they're not going to be playing Seneca and Cherokee or whatever.
Well, I had somebody tell me this the other day, and I mean, and he was a former athlete and played at the NFL, a gentleman I teach, and he was like, golf is the only sport where you can actually go do what the professionals do. He goes, if I wanted to go to hit baseballs at
they're not going to say, hey, come to Yankee Stadium. And,
Wrigley Field.
I mean, you can go to Bats and sign up to do that.
Maybe. I mean, but you're going to pay some money to do that,
right.
and I mean, just like you would pay. But I mean, you're not going to get the same experience of
making
a par like you did. All right. So we are really getting close.
Yeah.
I mean, we've taken this one long, and
that's all right.
definitely have. Major when it's a major, we're hyped first day in the studio, but we do have a pretty tight deadline to follow.
Here's where you
got
to listen because here's
so
your
we're
chance
gonna
to make
drop
some
in our
retirement
picks.
money.
Let's go. I am going to start with you there, Mr. Sears.
You're going to start with me.
Yeah, we're going to see what's in your bag as you pull it out, and I don't want to see what's in that bag.
Hey, listen, But anyway, here's my picks. Take them with a grain of salt.
Is that a 7-Up shirt or I got 5 on it?
It's a 7-Up shirt, actually. All right, here's the deal. Here's what I've got. I think Victor Hovland's going to win a major here.
Whoa.
All right.
He's a young gun.
Yes.
There's been a lot of young guns on the PGA Tour winning.
Yes.
5 first-time winners on the PGA Tour this season.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Well, here's
Victor Hovland.
Victor Hovland. We got Gary Woodland is my other pick.
Mm-hmm.
Notice I'm going a little safer this week than I did last week.
I mean, you're pulling somebody out from Cousin T's picks a week ago.
All right, Shane Lowry is my other pick.
Whoa, there you go.
And then I'm going with Stuart Sink, baby. And this is just to make the cut, but I think Stuart Sink's going to have a good show.
I tell you what, I'm going to have to say Shane Lowry is a great play this week. I mean, and I really like that play because obviously the Open Championship, the champion of the year, I mean, still defending champion on that, and because they didn't play that last year, and he is a fantastic links player. This is a links golf course. Who was your last pick again?
Stuart Sink.
Stuart Sink, been playing well, obviously in form, won on a Pete Dye golf course over at Harbortown, right?
He did. Yes.
Well, let's get the real people in here right now. Cousin T, let's hear what Ridge Rock has to say, baby.
Man, so first of all, my question to you two is how do you guys think the defending champ does? What does Morikawa do?
I was actually thinking about picking him, but
that's a great question. I mean,
because I think you can throw him out personally.
Yeah, he hasn't really been up to form. I mean, he's been right around making cuts. I think with all the responsibilities this week, this is a learning session for him as he moves forward. I'm going to kind of say he makes the cut, but he's not in contention. Is my thought.
All right. Well, I think you got to go Justin Thomas. I think he's got to be the top play.
Let's go.
I agree with Joey. I like Gary Woodland. I think you play him this week, and then I'm going to give you 2 long shots, guys that may not necessarily be in contention to win, but I think are going to be around your top 10. Siwoo Kim. And I tell you what, man, this is a whole nother story for another podcast. But the Orientals are going to take over golf here pretty soon.
Well, I mean, they've already done.
They've already done it on the women's side.
Man, I tell you what, this is another story because I wanted to drop out KJ Choi and what he's done for all the Korean players.
Most hated guy on tour by the caddies.
Maybe so, but I mean, what he's done for the game of golf and all the North Korean players. I mean, he has his academy in Houston. It's good. I can't disagree with that. Yeah. I think you're going to see. I think you will see one of the Asians on.
And it's what you mentioned earlier in one of our first podcasts is the whole federation deal.
Right.
It's more of a team thing for them, and they root for each other, and they're trying to help build each other up. Where the Americans just want to kill each other.
Yeah,
so
it's a squad.
It's different. And my last one is a long shot. I think he'll make the cut. Honestly, I think he may give it a run. Dean Burnmeister.
Woo!
Is this guy fold shirts somewhere in a shop?
Dean
Burmeister.
Is he a PGA professional?
Like
That's in the
frat
field.
boy.
There's
He's
20
not.
PGA professionals in the field.
Yeah.
We are not picking any of them, but I will tell you one that will probably make the cut, and that's the Yuri guy who's the number one. He won the PGA Club Professional Championship. Can't believe I'm forgetting his first name, but he played on the tour for a little bit. Anyways, again, I'm going to look at the international qualities anytime I have to pick, and I'm excited about these picks. And I'm just going to start with one on the international. Up to good form, Carl Schwartzel. Been playing really well leading up to this week.
Carl or Charles? Carl,
Schwartzel, I mean, whatever it is. I like him. The South African has been in good form. He's going to be around. Again, this is a golf course that it's going to be hot. It's going to be a long walk. It's going to be sandy. I like those guys that have played on an international flavor right here this week coming into this field. My Euro pick, and this is one that is, again, in good form and is somebody that I did not consider Shane Lowry, but that is an excellent play. Like Martin Laird, the Scottishman.
I picked him last week.
Martin, and he's been playing well. And I mean, and again, this is a golf course I'm going to look for a links player. I would have to say my other international play this week is John Rahm. Yeah. I think that, John is, he's at the top end. Whether you want to put him in there over a Justin Thomas or over a Rory McIlroy, that's hard to argue. I mean, here's a golf course that, again, that is going to demand good ball striking, good iron play, and, you got to hit it long. Who's playing this week for the American side? Guy named Brooks Koepka. Mm-hmm. Remember him? Everybody remember Brooks Koepka? Yeah. He's in the field. There's Tony Finau in the field. All these guys are in the field.
Are you going to pick the whole field?
I'm not picking them. Okay. I'm just name dropping the whole field.
You got to look at Rory. Rory's going to be tough.
I mean, how do you not have Rory as one of your top players?
Yeah, a multiple PGA Championship winner.
You have to
right.
Pick Rory.
I mean,
but that's
Rory
easy,
over
so
Justin.
It
is
right.
So we're trying to make some money here.
And here's the thing: you can't take Rory and Justin and Koepka. I mean, you've got to be able to put together some long shots.
Right.
With them.
And so here's where I'm going. I mean,
you going Rich Beam?
No, I'm going to say though. I mean, you're going to see some good play from the Low Country guys. You're going to see some good play from guys from North Carolina, guys from South Carolina, guys that have played this golf course multiple times just because it's a great golf course and they live close by. So, where I'm looking at right now, and I'm going to go with my plays, and I'm going to tell you who I think is going to win this week, and I am going to say my number one pick on the American side is a guy who finished second in 2012, and he is playing well right now. That is Keegan Bradley.
I like
Keegan Bradley. Wait, again, in 2012 when he played here, he was -5.
That's a good pick.
I like that
and
pick.
he's playing well. He's inside the top 10 on strokes gained approach. Again, you have to hit the ball high. You have to have command of your trajectory. I think Keegan can do that. I like him. And I'm going to give you a sleeper pick right here, and I'm going to sneak this one in. Guy who I think really plays well this week, Harold Varner III. Woo! Why? I'm going to tell you why. Because he's one of the frat boys with the Ocean Course's #1 celebrity, and who's that? Hootie and the Bluefish. Yeah. So, I mean, I guarantee you, HV3.
With a little love.
HV3 is a North Carolina boy. He's played this golf course. I guarantee he's played it multiple times, and I kind of like him this week.
Josh, the name you were looking for was Omar Uresti.
Thank you, Omar. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and you're right. I agree. I think he may make the cut.
Well, he's going to make the cut. I mean, he's a former tour pro. Everybody has always had. There's a lot of debate about that. But let me tell you something. As a guy who is a PGA professional, and I mean, whether he played on tour or not, what he's doing for the game of golf right now, he's an automatic in.
He just needs to pick up the pace. He's a little slow.
Well, and we didn't even talk about some of our PGA professionals from Kentucky. Larry Gilbert, who's played in the PGA Championship. We've had a few that have won the Club Pro Championship, a few that have played in the PGA Championship. my boy Grant Sturgeon back in the day at Hazelton. Grant got him on the board.
Metropolitan Open in New York.
He's the man. I mean, he's one of the best players I've ever been. But I like Harold Varner III. And then I'm going to give you one other name that I think that will play well here, and he is a former major champion, and you can get him probably as a good play. Bubba Watson. He's been in good form. He hits the ball. He's creative. This is the type of golf course that you have to be able to recover. And one last thing about this golf course, I will have to say this, Joey, because I got one story I'm going to share, and then we're going to roll out. It's the only golf course I've ever played to where I could never find a golf ball. Everybody else found their golf ball, but you drive it just a little bit through the fairway, and you get into this like.
Is it rough?
It's not rough. It goes right through the rough, and then it goes into the sand, and then it's not gorse. It's like baraka. I have no idea what it is.
Did you try to smoke it?
Huh? No. I mean, that was right after my biking adventure, and so I was definitely on this golf trip in the most sober ways. But anyways, it is one of those golf courses where if you hit it off a little bit offline, you find it. But it is one where you go with your boys, and you can see I may have cropped this picture. I mean, Bernie may be sitting in there with us on our golf trip, but there also may be one of my boys with or without his shirt on. I mean, it's hard to say. But, the 17th hole, that great par 3, I had played it 2 rounds in a row, Joey, and guess what happened? On the 18th hole. So first day we played it all the way back. I make 4. I make 4 both days. Right. Played it all the way back. Drove it over the water. Get it up there. Missed my putt. Easy bogey. Second day we play it up. I hit the worst. Like Mark Calcavecchia shanked it.
Yeah.
I freaking shanked it. Right. So I'm like, dude, I just hit Calcavecchia's shot. I go up there. My ball's on the other side. He wishes he shanked it as good as me.
Oh yeah.
I'm over here on 18T. Chip it up over this alligator that's on the pond. It's just sitting right there. It was like sleeping right on the edge of the green.
Was he missing an eye?
It could have been Chubbs. I mean, I think he was. Chip it over him, right? And don't get the ball up and down, make it easy for. Go to the 18th, which is a beautiful hole, really historic. Split what I thought was a good drive.
Right.
And I'm like, man, did that ball just bounce left? And my caddy was like, yeah, it did. And I knew that ball was lost, right? And I had just gotten a new set of irons, and I've had this driver for like 6 years. I turned around and like, man, I tossed my driver right into the middle of the 17th pond, just right into the middle. And I threw it. Nobody sees me, which is anticlimactic.
Yeah,
I mean,
only my caddy. Out there,
my caddy sees me. He's like, "What the hell are you doing?" I'm like, "Dude, piss on this driver. I got to get a new one." You know. And that alligator, I threw it out there. That alligator like swam out there. He was like, "What the hell?"
Hey, man, is that a TaylorMade?
He was looking for Chubbs. He thought that was Chubbs coming in there. But
all right, so. Will John Daly make the cut?
Word. John Daly always makes the cut. If not, he'll be selling T-shirts at Hooters. Let's go, PGA!